Hello, welcome to another episode of Madhu Decodes. Last episode, we spoke about how AI products are built, but building AI is only half of the story because the real test begins after someone actually buys the product and successfully uses it. Welcome back again to Madhu Decodes. We are unpacking how AI actually works in the real world. In the previous episode, we spoke with the CTO of Mexty AI about the architecture, building their platform, etc. Today, we are exploring something equally important. What happens when customers start using the technology? Mexty AI is a French tech startup. It's an education tech startup. It is a building a platform that uses artificial intelligence to help educators and organizers create interactive learning content, courses, assessments faster and at scale. But technology alone doesn't guarantee success. It is adoption, onboarding, and customer outcomes where many AI products actually struggle. And that is the key differentiator of success. And that's why today I'm joined by Melek Rekik, a customer success manager at Mexty AI. Mexty works closely with organizations implementing AI powered learning systems, helping them move from curiosity about AI to actually using it and effectively training their customers or students and eventually launching the education program with the help of Mexty. So, welcome back to the episode. Very, very happy to have you here, Melek. I know you are a customer success manager at Mexty and a young technology expert, and you're venturing into the customer success area of AI. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me, Madhu. It's a pleasure for me too to being part of this podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Let's start with something very simple but revealing. So, when a company signs up for an AI platform like Mexty, or a company or a customer, when they buy AI Mexty or they sign up for it, what are they actually hoping they will change?
So actually, when a company buys or uses Mexty, they're usually hoping for one big change is to move faster when creating learning content in just few minutes. Many organizations today creating training is still slow, and you need to write content, to structure it, to create quiz, scenarios, activities, etc. And that process can take several days, or even several weeks. So what companies expect from Next is the speed, simplicity, and also the fact that you still have the pedagogical control on your content. And
Okay.
that's what the most important thing, in my opinion, because everyone can use AI, but as we can see, when we do some prompt, we lose a lot of information. Like to create something in e-learning while keeping the pedagogical control is something really important for us. But the misconception, I think, about AI platform, I think it's the magically, let's say, everything on its own. And the magically, let's say,
It's changing.
I will magically do everything actually,
Oh,
but it's
okay. That's interesting. Okay. So, last episode with Fabian, your CTO, we talked a lot about technology, the models, architecture, engineering decisions, etc. But from your perspective, working with customers every day, where does the real challenge begin?
okay. So
Is it
for me, the real challenge begins with actually, for sure, for me, it stays the creativity, because we can give the same tool for example, to freelancer, to learning designer, or to professor, and at the end, the outcome will not be the same, even if it's the same topic. So
okay?
for me, the human side
Mhm.
stays and has a big place in the AI, because we need some human intervention to get what we expect to.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I love that perspective because many founders think once the product is, created, it works, the job is done. But customer success area, I think, tells a very different story. We need to walk it through step by step, I think. Imagine, so what does one actually look when a customer comes to you or when they have just bought a product and when you interact with them, what do they tell you first? what is the biggest surprise after any implementation?
So the first surprise is when they find that they can do everything in the platform, because we try to build a platform where you don't need to go out elsewhere to bring some content. So even for the video, etc., we try to keep people and keep learning designers and in the platform. And for example, it's, let's say, the everything in one tool, if I can say that. And for
Mhm.
them, it's quite important because sometimes they need to switch from a lot of platforms to create the content that they, at the end, they will match together. So for us, we try
Mhm.
to afford that. So, and not going to and
To
using
any other
multiple
tool. Ah. So the biggest surprise they get with Mexty is that it's reducing the effort of them going to multiple tools to do multiple activities. So your platform actually combines all of those elements into the same platform,
Mhm.
where they can build multiple elements of the training itself. I think I have used it myself. I have tried to use it for my son's homework. I think you can create quizzes, you can create slides, PDF documents, mind maps. I think you can also create micro learning. I don't know what else I am missing.
Yeah,
Are there any other?
you can create also some kind of simulation. For example, from my side, I did one time to just to just do like an example. One time I did let's say an application or a mini game about the simulation of molecular bonding. As we know, that was like something in high school that we had
Okay.
in chemistry courses, where we take two molecules or three molecules and try to bond them together. So what I try to pray to simulate with Mexty one time is to give this exercise, but with the gamification side, where you have like the periodic table and at the bottom of the screen, and you
Hmm.
can remove it, and then you can bound your H2O molecule, or I don't know, CO2, and you
That's
can
very
play with it.
interesting. Yeah, I think my son also was like very keen to do a gamified version of his training material for his lessons. He's in year 7, so I can see why gamified experience can be very equally important for children as well as for adults. I think interactive learning sets you apart from many of the education learning platforms, I feel.
So
What does the
it's
first
something.
30 days? Yeah, sorry.
It's important. I said especially for the new generation, because for me, I finished school with the launching of the AI, let's say,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like it. We will not speak about future, but just in these those years,
Hmm.
we need to change education, actually, because if we keep the classic way of education, I don't think it will be interesting for the new generation and the future.
Yes.
For example, I had like I finished school in 2025.
Hmm.
To be honest, in 2025, and still using a classic method that we used in the 90s. And so instead of adding, for example, we say digital tool is something good. And at the same time, we say, no, digital tools are addictive. So maybe when we give the possibility to a student to use his digital tool in the school for education, maybe it can change the let's say the perspective of using a
Yes.
digital tool in class, and he will avoid using it for social media, for example, and he will use it for let's say educational content.
Very true. Very true. I think it's going to change the landscape of education for sure. And gamified learning is going to be very, very important. And changing how we learn is also equally important. So I'm going
Yeah.
to ask you about the first 30 days of a new customer. Say I'm a new customer or equally like a corporate trainer. What does the first 30 days look like for them?
Okay, so the first 30 days are usually like for exploration and quick wins. Let's say, yeah, because you can create, let's say, from the first 2 3 days, you can already create a content. But if you want, like, it's like video generating with AI. Everyone can do it, but you need also some time and some training to master it and to have the best outcome that learning designer or professor wants. So for the during the first week, it will be a test, let's say, period where I do an onboarding with them. I do the onboarding with showing how to use the platform. Then I let them use the platform and see if they have some challenges. And for sure, in those periods, I will be always available for them to see if they actually encounter some, let's say, problems or some misuse. So so the and what I found like interesting is the biggest challenge here is not like technical but adopting AI, because a lot of learning designer, professor, etc. in our field, they use already classic softwares and classic platforms, and we saw that they stick to it. They don't want change. So that's
Okay.
why we spend the first weeks really to show them what are like the added value of Mexty, sorry, and that they need, that they can change from the tool without like deleting the others. I hope it was clear for.
Okay, fair enough. I think what you're telling me is the first 30 days, you spend the first week mostly educating people that AI is easy to use. There is no fear to change from their classic system to an AI system. And that's a mindset shift that you're actually trying to attack in the first week more than a technical challenge.
No, because actually we try to make the platform as simple as we can. Even for some, it's still not complicated, but a little bit, let's say, complicated. But for us, we try to make it simple. So our feedbacks, for sure, for people who didn't have the onboarding, it will be maybe harder, or yeah, for them. But if we when we do the onboarding in general, it's more about it's not about the technical side, let's say. It's more about adoption, how to say.
That's okay. So
uh,
you're telling me in the first 30 days, first week is for adoption, right?
mhm,
And that's the tool adoption, the simplicity, the how to navigate your tool itself is a challenge for them,
yeah.
right? Is that correct? Okay. How to use Mexty itself. Okay. Okay. And what about the week number 2 or 3? So what happens after the first week of you teaching them how to use Mexty features? Because it's
Okay.
very different from classic education learning platforms. So I think the first week you spend a lot of time educating them on the feature set because it's an AI feature set and people have to change their mind from classic to AI feature set. So what happens after?
After the first week with onboarding and giving them time to test, the next week what I do is I go to first to see if they created successful blocks. So for me,
Okay.
if they created after the onboarded, created the successful blocks and they are using or a course. So for me, the onboarding was successful and the adoption wasn't too much hard for them. But in the data, if I see, for example, someone that I already did the onboarding with him, and after a week, after the second week, he couldn't do something interesting, or he couldn't achieve what he wanted, then I contact him and I ask for sure if he's encountering some struggle or some problem in our
Mm.
platform. And then I try to let's say, I don't know, I will say it like that. I try to build a team with him, let's say, and we work as a co-designer together. And
Okay.
from his side, he
Okay.
has his professional perspective and background, and from my side, I have the platform knowledge better than him, even if I did the onboarding, because I'm using it since months. So, and I try to do this mix with him to show him that, like, what he can do with his background and with his pedagogical content, what he can do,
Mhm.
even if he already did the onboarding. So I try always
Okay.
to ex to
Okay. So I think you pick some really important use cases that the customer is actually unable to do, and you do it as an interactive workshop alongside because they have their pedagogical knowledge, you have the tool knowledge, and both of you together make it work. And that way, with the interactive workshop, they are able to do it themselves going forward. So that is
yeah.
what week 2 and week 3 looks like. What about the last week? Say if it is a 1 month of onboarding and adoption, How does you, once the customer feels comfortable using your system, what do you see before you say, okay, you can do it all on your own? So what will be your last week of effort?
Actually, yeah, it's kind of, let's say, not a direct follow-up.
Okay.
So in our like, it's after the usually it takes to less than 30 days,
Okay.
because as I said, for me it's more about 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. So the first week
Fair
onboarding,
enough.
second week see if they did something interesting, or if not, I try to help them and show them how to use the full potential of Mexty. And the
Mm-hmm.
third week I do not the same as the second week, but I recheck also if they attended what the need, that the outcome that they wanted. And also I ask them if it was clear enough, if they solved their issues, what
Mm.
kind of challenges did they encounter that
Okay.
didn't made the experience well, let's say.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So in your experience, so you would have onboarded many customers. What type of customers succeed, or it is easy for them to adopt? And what kind of customers take longer to succeed or adopt?
Yeah. So for me, if I'm as in my experience, and now, like, now we are living in a world like you have the AI users
Hmm. Yeah.
and the against AI users. So, and
Okay.
maybe not against, they are just using it way less than the others. But for me, for example, if I have a meeting or with a customer that he already used AI, it's very simple to to have the outcome that we want, and
Oh, okay.
the, how to say, the use of the platform is way easier than the people that didn't use AI. Because, for example, one time I had a meeting with the professor. He's
Hmm.
like, he's thinking that AI can do everything, and that's why he's against. So when we did the little meeting and I showed him the platform, he thought that from one prompt you will have an output, a really good output, really good course, but
Okay.
it's not the reality. So you need to the prompt. Okay, it's important. So you can do something from simple prompt, but the better, the more details you give, the more details you have, and it's better. So the let's say
That's
the
your
two,
observation. So,
yeah, the
okay.
two different profiles that I met
Tried.
during this.
Okay. Okay, so some customers have to start from scratch using AI, and that those are the customers that take longer to onboard, in your opinion, right? So how do you attack them if that is the case, and you find out that they are fresh into the AI world? Do you do something more to onboard such customers?
With such customers, to be honest, it's quite easier. For example, one time I thought it will take 1 hour, but at the end it took just 50 minutes, because the guy don't have, he uses multiple tools. And
Okay.
actually, when you understand the principle, let's say, and the steps to create something with AI, actually we can scale it into other platforms. Just it's just different tool, but let's say
Yeah, true, true. Yeah.
the general idea is still the same.
So in the case of where somebody has not used AI and they are coming fresh to Mixed to first time, then what else do you do? What additional information do you give them?
So yeah, as additional, let's say the first sentence sorry, that I always say is, think of Mexty as a co-designer, not as a black box
Oh, I
that
see. Okay.
will do everything from A to Z without telling
Okay.
you if it's okay or not. So because a lot
Mm.
of let's say not users, not AI users, think that it's magical.
Okay. 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 Got it. Got it. Let's go into some of the real use case impact or stories. What kind of time savings have your customers seen?
Okay, so actually in the learning content creation, at first, I thought it's something really easy, and you just need to have content and you try to build it. But when I try to go deeper, I found like it's really huge work, from designing, from creating scenario, from doing the quiz, the mini games, exporting score, etc. So usually it takes it's weeks and sometimes months. And what we have seen is like we can reduce this time without losing the pedagogical control. So it was before what really we gave. It's like before it was more about manual let's tasks, because writing slides, creating activity, exploring content, and now with Mexty they can generate a structured, let's say, interactive course in minutes, and then spend their time improving the learning experience instead of building everything from scratch. So because you have the possibility to bring your content, for example, if we take the let's say a course about, let's say, about soft skills, for example, about leadership. So the theory of the leadership and the courses are almost the same, but what makes them different is like the learning experience behind this content. And with Mexi, that's what we are trying to do, is making the learning experience better, because at the end, every content like are almost the same. Like, I don't know, a math course in here or there, it's just a math course, but what makes it really interesting, at what makes the learners learn at the end, is the learning experience. And yeah, that's I hope it was clear as answer.
Yeah, definitely. I think what you've explained makes sense. So, in order to retain your customers and to make them long term customers, how do you think customers renew? What kind of customers actually are staying with you long term?
That's yeah. So yeah, and what we saw in our platform is like the first day of use. So if a customer's his first day of use
Hmm.
are successful, and even if he has like not 100% outcome that he wants, but let's say 70 or 60%, but he see the potential, he will stay. But customer that didn't understand the platform and didn't knew how to use it really well, so he will unfortunately not use the tool, and at the end he will remove his subscription.
Okay. So,
So for us, it's really the first, for me, it's the first 2 weeks, and more the first weeks, because if the first weeks is good, then we are pretty sure that the use of will stay the same. But if, as I said earlier, if they don't know the platform, that's why I'm contacting them to see in the second week if we can do something to
okay,
make
got it.
it better.
How do you turn power users to your advantage as advocates for the platform?
So
Okay, let's move on. Yeah.
So the power use, like users become so maybe when someone, I mean, when someone in team really realize they can produce interactive learning faster, they
Yep.
naturally start recommending like the tool
Okay.
and internally. And the most is like, okay, I think everyone can produce interactive course in 5-10 minutes, but the learning experience is the most important thing. And that's why learning designer job is a good job, because they try always to think about how learning experience can be better for learners, and not
Mm.
can be easier for the professor, or for
Ah,
or
okay. Fair enough.
the training.
Okay.
So I like the perspective of always putting the learners in the first step, and saying that it should be interesting for them before it should be easier to the professor to.
Okay. That's very well said. I think that the customer value speaks for itself more than just the professors or educators' time and ease of use. I think that you put it really well there. Do you also have metrics? What metrics matter the most in AI SaaS when it comes to usage, engagement, or completion rates? Do you track any metrics from your side?
Yeah, for us is the creation of blocks or course, the frequency of creation.
Okay.
And we have kind of a curve where we analyze if this user, so we can understand a lot of things with the creation frequency. It can be the user didn't understand well how to use, or he understand very well and he using it
Mm-hmm.
perfect, or he is encountering some problems. For me, the creation frequency of module and course is something important. Also, the
Okay.
usage consistency, because we are we are not giving it to let's say end customer that will just consume. We are giving it to professional that will work with it. So if the usage didn't went well and didn't uh, isn't
Mm-hmm.
consistent, sorry, then that means that we need to see maybe he has some issues, eh, lack of time. So and then we go to try to understand why this consistency is not uh, good. And also the engagement with the interactive content. So we
Indeed.
have some users that are sharing sometimes in LinkedIn. For the same user, sometimes the module or the mini game that he created
Mm-hmm.
take more viral more than the other. And for us, that make us understand which is better, what we should do, and how we can improve that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining all the metrics that you're tracking because it's really important for the AI founders and creators what kind of metrics they need to look at when they actually launch a product. So, if I'm a founder and I'm building an AI SaaS, what should I learn from your experience?
So yeah, if I had to share one lesson,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, it will be the product is only half of the experience. Actually, what really matters is what happened after the sale, because
Yeah.
we can create really good let's say product, and I like creating, and there's so much product that are interesting, but at the end what is important is selling, because if you can't sell you cannot live, and the company cannot succeed. So it's one of the most thing. And also many founders, like they or maybe they underestimate onboarding, education, and support for AI products, because I don't know,
Okay.
like AI introduced really new workflows, and to have successful SIS, I think
Mm.
we need to use this workflow and change a little bit what we used to do in the past.
Okay, fair enough. I think definitely founders do underestimate the adoption and customer success journey, like you pointed out, I think. How important is education versus shipping the features in
Yeah,
your opinion?
always shipping new feature is great, and that's something we like, but I think helping user understand how to use them effectively,
Hmm.
like it's really what really driven the adoption. Because yeah, for example, I did one time an onboarding with the learning designer, and in fact she wasn't too much on AI. She was
Hmm.
more about the physical contact, etc., and reducing the digital tool. But she was interesting uh, by by that. And like what we saw, like, for example, sometimes I told her the blog you can create two multiple things. It depends of your creativity.
Hmm.
And I let her at first create what she wanted. She couldn't, like she did something really special, really classic, because she hadn't some idea about this technology and how can you create some experience with the technology. And then I just gave her two example of the molecular bond, and also of a friend of mine created, like he's a coach in soft skills, and he created how to say no to your boss. And when she saw those kind of different example, like they are not in the same topic, so she started to think more about how she can use it, and she came with ideas that were better than I proposed, because at the end she is a professional of this field. So sometimes they need just some lights, let's say, to
Okay.
activate this.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think that's very cool. That's very cool. I think that's how most people will find it, right? Once they find the interesting use cases, how the learning can be shaped. I think that triggers how the whole usage plus their knowledge blends together. Yeah. Thank you. You put it really well. Thank you so much. Where does the human intelligence still matter, you think? So when we have any AI product, we always have to balance it with a human in the loop. Where does the human judgment still matter with respect to mixed?
most important topic now about the AI is human and place in the AI. And for us, to be sure and to be honest, I'm really sure that with Mexty, we still need human intervention, because human intervention for me is always important, and we are trying to keep this point also. Why? Because sometimes, as we know, AI let's say write or produce some mistake when they produce some mistakes. I don't know, for example, I was for answering questions, sometimes it doesn't really answer the question, and if you don't check it, it can engender some problems at
Okay. Okay.
the end. So for me, the human place and the human is really important. At first is we should not delegate everything, but we
Okay.
should think, and let's say, and I always say this sentence, but we need to think the AI as a co-designer, not
Co-design.
as a
Okay.
replacement. What for me is the humans are still essential, actually, for the pedagogical design, for the context understanding, and the most important thing in the learning too is the quality control, because we will have learners, and
Mm-hmm.
if you share some wrong, let's say, content, or not, let's say, yeah, that's, let's say, just you share the wrong content, so the learner will how to say,
We'll end up consuming wrong
yeah.
information. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wanted to cover.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Madhu.
Now we are entering into the last round of rapid fire. So it's like one word answer, what comes to your mind. Okay.
Mm.
What is the most common customer fear?
The most customer fear is actually trusting 100% the AI.
What is the fastest onboarding story you had? How quick did you onboard someone? Very quick.
So one of the clearest, let's say, example is during onboarding, especially like with the freelancer and independent. And now a lot of learning designers are into AI, even for image creation, video,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So when a lot of them, especially the learning designer that have my age, that have grown with technology, they know how to use since 5 years or 4 years technology. Those for me are the best, let's say,
Fastest. Okay.
onboarding experience with them, because they understand really, really well the AI, as they create some really complicated with video, etc. So for me,
Okay.
it's the let's say the best onboarding that I can have. It's when something is already using AI and understanding everything.
One onboarding mistake people should avoid.
So yeah, one onboarding mistake we should avoid is for me, making let's say, the onboarding one-sided speech.
I see. Okay.
So it's really, let's boring for me, as for the for the guy, for the customer, because I'm kind of doing, let's say, I'm kind of reading a PDF at the end. So if there is no interaction between them, I think it will be more difficult for him to understand and
The
also to
concept
remember
also.
what we did.
So it should be more interactive workshop type session.
Yeah.
And what is the AI trend in learning that nobody seems to be talking about?
So for me is actually the gamification with AI became
Gamification.
something really important, because in the past, to create some gamification, some gamified experience, it was programming it was really tough for people who don't master like programming
Mm-hmm.
tools or some softwares. And now at the end, what we need is just the scenario, the idea, and make the prompt perfectly to have the best outcome. So And for me, it opens too much, let's say, like, for example, we can find games like MMORPG, like WoW,
Mm,
or I don't know, but for, imagine for learning, because now you
yeah,
can actually do too much simulation, mini games, and even with 3D. So it's really important.
it is really important. Thank you. One advice for the AI founders building vertical SaaS. Do you have any advice for them?
So, as an advice, the biggest, let's say, advice would be focus less on the hype and more on the real workflows.
Okay.
Because I can give an example. I don't know, maybe a lot of people, a lot of people
Hmm.
that are in this field will
Will
attack
resonate.
me. Yeah, but like if we take AI agent,
Okay.
the N8N workflow and stuff,
Hmm.
there is companies that are creating such like an automated LinkedIn message that, by the way, don't prefer to use too much for me and I'm not contacting too much people. So for me, it's better to keep the human,
In the loop.
because for me, I can see if it's written with AI or no. So there is some, let's say, adjective that known for AI. So for me, it's more real of workflow. And to come back to the AI agent at the end, is something that you, me, and everyone can create. And then they are selling it for $300 and €400. That's what is hype. So they are
Mm,
focusing on the hype because people are still not, let's say, informed enough about the AI. But at the end, the N8N flows and the agent are not too hard to create, and that's what's make the hype buying those products. And I think in 2, 3, 4 years they will not be here because
okay.
everyone will know how to use the those kind of.
Tools. Yeah. Thank you so much, Melek. It was such a nice conversation with you. All the very best for all your customer onboarding and customer success.
Thank you.
Looking forward to talking to you again when you have more to tell us as well from a customer success viewpoint.
Thank you, Madhu. It was really interesting. I hope it was clear enough from my side,
Yes, it was. Thank you.
and I hope you enjoyed this meeting. It was interesting for me, the podcast, and even the topics are really what we need to talk and what really we need to focus on. So
Thank you, Melek. Thank you for
thank
coming on
you.
board. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.